Hi, everybody. We're back again, Masters of the Market. I'm here with Mike McCann. Everybody, I'm sure if you're in the real estate business in the Philadelphia market, and you don't know that name. That just pretty much means you're not in the business in the real estate Philadelphia market. So, as you guys know, I'm Ian Walsh, hardmoneybankers.com. Really grateful to have Mike here today, and thanks for joining us, Mike. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. The honor's mine.
Yeah. So. This is actually the first time I've met Mike was earlier today, but obviously his reputation precedes him. For those of you that don't know Mike's credentials or his history, obviously you've seen his face or his name everywhere. Actually, the thing that I've been incredibly impressed by, and I read this. Well, let me ask you this, Mike: 400 emails a day?
Oh, easily, yes, yes.
So, and here's the thing: he gets back to every one of them instantly. So. That is one responsive man. So, those who don't know, I'm just going to do some stuff about Mike. He is an extremely accomplished agent and has a very successful team in the figure work with Berkshire Hathaway.
Yes. Berkshire Hathaway, Fox and Berkshire.
Number one agent in 2016. He's been one or two for the last 15, and I'd say number one agent not in just Philadelphia, in the nation. Moved over 800 houses, roughly 800 houses last year. I think it was 794 was the number you gave me. $263 million in sales. Has moved people in such as Stephen Starr, Joe Biden's daughter, and who's the other one? Oh, Will Smith as well. So for those that want to know about masters of the market and people that understand this game, there's really not going to be anybody better, especially on the retail market, than Mike McCann. And now you've been in this, Mike, for how many years? 20, 25?
3 decades. So it's 30 years. This year was 30 years. Unbelievable.
So I'm going to start here. What got you into it? And something I picked up and wanted doing some of my fact checking was you have an X factor, as some people call it, or that gene that when you get in, you go all in with something. So I recognize that I understand it as somebody running a business. You either have that or you don't. So something 30 years ago, that gene kicked in and you went to town. So what happened? How did you get into this?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, I was born with that gene, and I always said my whole life, as I was working, it started pretty early, around 10, and was in a restaurant business, and I just said, and I always outworked everyone, and I always loved what I did, and I just said, I wish I had a job where the harder you work, the more money you can make. And I did sell vacuums door to door for 3.5 years. Kind of burnout, but my friends were investing in real estate in the 80s, and I was back in the hotel business, and they said, take a class with us. I said, I don't have your money. I don't work for my dad. And so they said, come on, take a class, Michael. So I took a class at Temple Real Estate, and I went, oh my God, big commissions, the harder you work. And so that's how I got introduced from my friends investing in real estate, and I decided I wanted to sell real estate.
And the rest is history? Is that just...
Yeah, well, I just said, I got in the business, and of course what I did was just read everything, continued to read. Back then you didn't have the internet, so I would travel all over to get my education. I read every book, I took every course at Temple, and I said to myself, since real estate is a cooperating business, I said, I want to have the best reputation in the marketplace, and I want to be the most knowledgeable in the marketplace. And I already had that hardest working gene. And I still love what I love what I do, and which is scary. So I might not be able to ever benefit from all my success because I constantly work 10, 12, 14 hours a day, but I love it. It's my life. The team's my family, and I enjoy the business and the people in it. And getting to meet people like you, Ian, and
sure, man.
It's what I do every day.
So it's interesting. You probably see. So if anybody is picking up now, you've got some serious energy. You're a very high energy guy, and I bet you've been that way your whole life. Is that about right?
You want me to do some one-handed push-ups for you?
Yeah. Right. Exactly. So
I am incredible. Yes, I've been blessed with incredible energy, and yes. It's just what I walk fast. I always tell people, when you're walking, walk fast. When I'm walking down the hall in the office, people move to the side. I'm just, it's just how I am.
When I was doing the history on you, I was reading. Somebody came in to do an interview with you on that article, and the first thing he said to him is, "You got to keep up with me." And he said it was just literally you're just moving around that place at lightning speed. But I mean, you're moving you're moving 800 properties. There's not enough. There aren't enough. There's 20. You need 26, 27 hours in a day, right? I mean, you've got to be moving. So, But here's what I want to dive into. I have some extremely sophisticated investors that'll see this, some extremely polished people in the business. And the one thing you bring to the table that some other people won't is you are where you are today, but you've seen 30 years of this business, which means 2, 3 real cycles in this game. So I got in the business in 2008, so I don't have quite the amount of experience that you do. But let me ask you this. So you've managed to survive the retail world through 3 cycles. Let's talk about 2008 up until today, right? So you can recognize this. I'm sure you do. I see it. Other people I know see it. Where the market can't go up forever, right? So we're due. So tell me what you've seen from 2008 till today and give your perspective on that, because it's really important for people to hear that.
I want to back up quickly a little further. When I got in '85, interest rates prior to that had been 18, 20%.
Sure.
They dropped down to about 10 or 11 in '85, and the market started to boom. So '85, I got in. '86, '7, '8, it was going up 20% a year. They did the tax law change in '86, the end of '86, and it changed the whole market. So by 1989-90, the market collapsed. We had a real estate depression. So I saw all these big, successful developers, builders who became real fancy lose everything. In the 80s, they were booming. And that stuck in my mind. So as I've developed builders and developers and investors, I always keep that in mind. I saw everybody lose their shirt. Between 1990 and 1994, it was much worse than '08. So '08 was a whole big thing. In the early 1990s and 1995, it was a real estate depression. Prices went down 30, 40, 50%. So then it slowly came back in the late 90s, and then it boomed. So I've been through 3 cycles. The '08 cycle was very bad, especially in the end of '08, 9 and 10. And then it started to slightly recover a little bit in 11, but 12 picked up a little more. 13 was good, 14 was better, 15 was incredible, and 16 is the best year of my career. I tell my agents we have 6 months to a year and a half of a great market. I don't know. I'm hoping it just stays stable. But to me, it's been 5, 7 years up, 5, 7 years down. Don't get ahead of yourself. A lot of my builders, they keep buying. I say, let's buy, build, get some under contract, then go on to the next one. Long term, in the market I'm in, Center City and the surrounding neighborhoods, long term, it's only upward, but you will see downturns. The things I bought in the 80s went down 20, 30%. Thank goodness I didn't have to sell them in the 90s. And I kept them, and now they're up 400% from what I purchased them in the 80s. So it is cycles, and they say when you're getting your hair cut, I don't have hair anymore, but when you're getting your hair cut and your barber's talking about flipping real estate, that's when it's time to get out. So whenever you're doing it.
That's perfect. So yeah, so everybody's kind of in the same ballpark. Now, I don't know where nobody knows, right, where the next cycle dips and so forth. But so you recognize this for the 3rd time, right? You've seen the cycle, you see what's coming. And there's always money to be made, right? There's fortunes to be made in a downturn. I mean,
absolutely.
Fortunes. Yeah. So I'm not a doomsdayer. I'm just saying prepare if you can, right? So what are you doing in your business around you to adapt for, like you just said, you got 6 months to a year of that killer market, and you got to make some adjustments. And if you're prepared, you'll make a fortune on the way back up. If you're not prepared and you're blind, you lose your shirt, you live above your means, et cetera, et cetera. So what are you doing? What are you doing inside your business to prepare?
Again, a little bit old school where I'm very safe and conservative with my builders. One of the biggest things for me doing it so many years is helping young guys or women get into business and buy a property, resell it, buy 2, buy 3, and then in 5 years they're doing 20 a year.
Right.
So just not getting ahead of yourself. I mean, I personally think that we have stability ahead of us unless there's something catastrophic. Even if rates go up a half a point, who cares? To me, under 9% is great, but even in this marketplace, under 6% would be great, even though it would be a change to the current millennial buyers. I don't see any netting up in Center City and the market. We've had 105,000 millennials move in town in the last 4 years. It's a big segment of our market. Then that moves to higher end market. But just staying stable, so not biting off more than you can chew. And if you're doing, the problem with a real big project is you might acquire it, do your zoning, your planning, your building, and it's 3 years before it's completed, and the market can change. So you have to be prepared. If that changed, can I lease it up for 5 years? So just not biting off more than what you can handle, and being prepared for if the market tweaked down, could you hold the project and hold it out? Because I've had many builders who we would hold them for 4 or 5 years until the market changed. In a downturn, yes, I've seen so many good people make great money because they were acquiring over 3, 4, 5 years when no one was buying. So just being safe, looking at what's the next neighborhood's great, acquiring now and holding for 5 years is another good way that I've seen a lot of people. I am concerned about the amount of rentals that are hitting the market, or the luxury rentals, a lot, and I'm concerned about the $1 million to $3 million homes. There's an abundance of those hitting the marketplace for our marketplace. Our sweet spot in the most transactions is that 3 to 6, 700,000 price range, the millennial, the young professional buyer marketplace in our marketplace. Yes, we have the baby boomers coming in, but the millennial is our biggest. Every year they're coming in, meds and eds in town. The Jefferson and Penn and Drexel, Temple, and so meds and eds are our big people that come in every year and buy, and then they sell in 5 or 10 years.
There you go. That's some good experience right there. So, so let me ask this. This is something I've noticed. This is just a personal note. So, I'm watching. I got into business during 2008, right? But I didn't have any money, so I learned how to wholesale properties. I don't know if you're familiar with. I'm sure you are familiar with that term. And then I built some money up and so forth. But so if I had all my money, I probably would have lost it in 2008 and 2009 with everybody else. I didn't know what was going on, but I got to see it. And now what I'm seeing, I don't mean to discourage anyone, but let me ask you this. Do you see at the bottom of a term when somebody, you know the guys that kind of got hurt at different turns, do they start to pop up again near the top of another turn? Do you start to see the same faces and the same people in the game, or is that not something indicative that you see? So for instance, if you got hurt in 2008, 2009, you took a 5-year sabbatical, call it, from the business, and all of a sudden you're starting to see certain people pop back up, and you're like, hey, you got really, maybe this wasn't for you at the time. Do you start to see that, and are you seeing that?
Yes, I do see some of the same people come back. Some people get out of it forever. I do see some of the same people come back because it's in their gene. They want to build. And what I see is in an upward market, people become successful because they're riding that upward market, and they think it's all because they're a genius, and then they become over cocky. Yeah. And you just have to stay humble, and you have to stay true to the market. And in an upward market, we're all geniuses, and in a downward market, we can all lose. But if you're cautious, you won't lose. So I see some people come back in. I have had many builders that work with me that we rode out that downturn, still sold property because we stayed extremely conservative. So you have to really know what your market is. Yes, I see a lot of wholesalers. I've dealt with wholesalers.
Sure.
Making money in these times. I've seen the sheriff sale people. Right now, everybody's bidding prices up, so you have to watch on what you're paying for a property, because we're not going to get 15% appreciation like we had last year every year.
Right.
That's what we thought in the 80s. Oh, it goes up 20% this year, 20% next year. You have to watch. We might have 3, 4, 5% appreciation. But if you have a good product, if you're a builder, if a good product, or rentals, there is a market for it big time. And I don't see that letting down. I see it's still fun. The city's growing. So it's an exciting time. And long term, it's, to me, 10 years from now, you're going to be like, I couldn't believe I could buy that for X.
You're right.
We're going to be like a Boston. We're going to be like a DC. We are still well below those marketplaces.
Yeah, I mean, one thing about Philadelphia that's been fantastic that I've noticed, and I just didn't know until 2008 till now, but we've always been, certain areas of the country that got hurt in downturns. Yeah, there were some pockets over here that got, eaten up a little bit, but we were pretty stable, and we are a very booming location in Philadelphia. You have some major plans coming out. I think they have that rail line coming in 2021 from here to to New York, and that changes Philly into a suburb of New York. So there's some really interesting things coming down the pipe. The stability's always been there. We've never been, not that at least that I've noticed, an area either that is boomed out of control. We weren't a very bubbly type area where you have certain pockets like DC or San Francisco that unsustainable bubbles. We just kind of steadily stay in it. And you're right. I mean, we could, the next Boston or the next New York or what have you, that could be us. So let me ask you this, Mike, and this is put you on the spot, and nothing, if you don't want to say it, don't say it. Is there anything, what would you tell people that they don't know about Mike McCann in the real estate world?
Oh,
anything fun?
What they don't know about Mike? I'm not sure what category you want to know. Personally or business wise, or no one. My reputation is that nobody responds faster, nobody cares more, nobody is more knowledgeable, and I am who I am. I'm the same guy I was 30 years ago when I didn't have anything. I help people. I help hundreds of people. I coach people, not just people on my team or in my company. I want everyone to succeed. And the most rewarding thing for me is, again, having these young agents or young builders, not young, any age, come to me and make them successful. I'm a very important part of their life. That's what I love about real estate. It's a big decision. I take that stuff very seriously. So that's what a lot of people think, oh, Mike McCann real estate, like he's going to be some pompous guy. I see him all over or whatever. They meet me. I'm a Philly guy. You can hear my Philly accent.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to help people. I want everyone to succeed.
Yeah, I could say that if you're working with Mike McCann, if I'm getting that kind of energy and I'm on your team, I've been around people. When you bring that kind of energy to people, it just elevates people's games. I can see in this conversation, it's just personally in this interview, but I could see the people around you feeding off that energy, and if you genuinely like that, which it certainly sounds like you do. You don't really sound. You kind of see like what you see is what you get. This is me, and this is who I am, kind of guy. And if you deliver that to your team, I'd imagine that's why. I mean, you guys moved 800 properties. I don't think there's the statistics speak for themselves. So.
Yeah, in 1988, I was number one agent in the city. I did 88 transactions without any other agent. But I have a couple other old school things.
Sure.
But, I'm a very positive person, and you have to stay positive in life in general. And I have a couple slogans. What I like about real estate, not just selling real estate, but developing, building, it's an opportunity. There's no limits to your opportunity. And if you treat everybody well, my contractors, my vendor, my roofer, my plumber, my electrician, their business have grown by being associated with me because I get them work, they do good work, they get paid right away. That's in every aspect of my life. That's what I like to do. And then I have some silly sayings like, if you believe you can achieve, the harder you work, the luckier you get. Can't means won't. I can't do that. That means you won't do it.
That's right.
Never give up. A lot of crazy things can happen, but you just keep going forward, and it works out. So that's why I love real estate. To me, it's the last entrepreneurial freedom. In America, you're limited to what you believe and achieve and associate yourself with, and you can be a great guy and help everybody. As you grow up, you help everybody else grow up.
Yeah, there's a lot of, everybody will reflect on an interview in a different way. I can take a lot from what you just said in different depths. Like some people will look at that and really relate to what you just said, understand it. Some people will breeze over it, but I'd recommend replaying that section because there's a lot of little tidbits in what Mike just said that, if you're in this game, you understand. Everybody goes through a tough time, but it's like you said, you always move forward. You push forward. There's no other answer. You stay in it. You're either your own worst enemy or your own best friend. And that's the truth in business. So, in real estate, and you're right, it is like one of the final, low regulated type industries where you're not going to get crushed by the red tape around you. Even though there is some, but honestly, it's a pretty fun industry to be in. There's no question. I mean, there's new rules being made every day, or new things you can do, and creativity you can bring to the table. And it sounds like you've thoroughly enjoyed it for 30 years. So, Mike, if I want to get in touch with you, how do I do it? If somebody's watching this, how do I get in touch with Mike McCann?
Cell 215-778-0901. Email McCann@McCannTeam.com. McCann @McCannTeam.com. All emails or calls are returned very, very fast.
I can vouch for that. I can vouch for that.
That's my policy in the office. Every call is returned every day within 2 hours.
I love it, man. I mean, you stood by it. I was, it's very. I'm extremely responsive by nature too. Like that's how. And I'm saying, hey, this guy. I had a girl that I was working with in my office who's also very responsive, and I said, this Mike guy. I was like, I mean, he's just as fast as we are. I was like, this is incredible. He's getting 400 emails a day, but you don't mess around with that, and that was really that was one of the things that impressed me out of the gate. So. But anyways, Mike, I really appreciate your time, and I really appreciate you coming, and I'm really excited that we got to meet like this. As everybody knows, I'm Ian Walsh with Hard Money Bankers, hardmoneybankers.com. And thanks for coming on, man.
It was my pleasure. I really appreciate meeting you, and we will do business, Ian.
You got it.